Welcome. It's hard to believe we're halfway through the semester already. Last week we talked about the environment in terms of basic safety, certainly the most critical thing we need to do before we can develop a learning environment. We're still focused on the environment this week, but we're looking at how to create an environment that provides not only a sense of safety and true safety, but an environment that's going to invite learning, places for quiet and places for activity, places for calm, places for individual work, and places for group work. So as you're going through this week's lessons, you're going to be eventually developing or designing your own classroom. That could be done with models or clay or simply sketching. Don't worry if you're not a good artist. It's just important we want to see your demonstration of what you're learning in this chapter in terms of effective design for learning. There's a couple different sections of this week as well that focus on play, and I figured I'd take a moment to show part of a presentation that I did on the importance of play. The entire presentation is online for you, but I wanted to give you the short version here. This was from a conference last year. When we talk about play-based learning, it is unstructured and it's interest-led. That can be hard to come by. So today I know there's a great deal of focus by society in general, and certainly by a lot of parents and a lot of structures within our early childhood settings that try to focus on advanced academics and lots of structure and so on. And we find that kids today don't have enough play. So it's not an either or. I talk to people that say, oh, we're a play-based program, or oh, we're an academic-based program. Okay, at this age, and certainly I would argue at every age, but definitely during early childhood, you need some of both. And there can be short directed times, but there can be times when they're learning tons, but it's still play-based. So if I create an effective environment where they can explore and figure things out on their own, hands-on, I'm doing a lot in terms of academic or learning growth, and it's still at their own pace. So the environment's very important, and setting that up for a child to play and learn and discover is huge. We want to be able to help children become more self-directed. And the one way that we need to do this is document their learning as well. So sometimes people say, oh, they're just playing. Are they really doing anything? So how do we document learning? We take photos, we make shorthand notes, we do brief things that we can use to demonstrate either through pictures or short words or a brief newsletter every week or two what they've been doing. In traditional academic mode, it's the teacher that's centered. We talk about the sage on the stage. The teacher is the one who's directing everything. I'm going to do it, and then you're going to do it. What we want far more of is student-centered. So you do it, and I kind of sit on the side, help guide and direct on and off, and make note. I'm the guide on the side. So I still have a very important role, but it's a little less traditional when we think about the way, especially education for older children is. Structured play should be focused on helping children also to further develop their interests, to problem solve, to work together. Here's a great example you can see below. These children are learning a ton, right? And it's all through the environment. Dr. Peter Gray, and let me move my name for a moment so you can see his information better. He did a TED Talk, and he's done a ton of research over these years. He talked about the decline of play. It made a really powerful argument about why it's so important. Over the past 60 years in the United States, there's been a gradual but dramatic decline in the amount of freedom and free play that children have without a direct adult supervision and direction. Over the same period, there's been an overall dramatic increase in anxiety, depression, feelings of helplessness, suicide, and narcissism. Obviously, some of these things typically happen in older children, but I can tell you in my own work as well that by the time I was working with adolescents, we were seeing up to a 5 to 10-fold increase over the last decade in terms of serious anxiety and depression, and sometimes suicidal thoughts and behaviors. So there's so many things happening here, but some of the things that play helps is for children to become self-directed, to problem solve, to learn how to get along with peers. If they're spending their entire time with the teacher directing them and very focused and not able to spend some time really socializing and practicing these skills on their own, there's some struggles there, besides the fact that we know that they just need that freedom as well. We know that children learn best when they're active. So whether we're talking about Jean Piaget, Maria Montessori, these educational pioneers knew that kids need to actively experience things in order to fully understand them. It should also be meaningful to them. So role playing, that's why we have those dramatic house areas, and the children can take time role playing and pretending to cook and share with others. Those are very, very important to them. Another focus that has happened recently is this concept of a creativity crisis in America, possibly also due to a lack of freedom to just explore. So over the generations, children have continued to have an increase overall in IQ. And that's kind of cognitive skill, vocabulary, memory, problem solving, and so on. However, our creativity scores, being able to think outside the box, come up with new solutions, new ways of seeing things, has been decreasing. And the decline has been the most serious for our youngest learners. So there has been an argument that this links pretty directly with our shift away from play as well. We've got some research here if you'd like to study further on the importance of play. So we have Edward Miller and Joan Allman, Crisis in Kindergarten, Why Children Need Play in School. And then Ginsberg, The Importance of Play in Promoting Healthy Child Development. We know that we want 21st century citizens. That is really, we're talking about children that can learn, that can problem solve, that can collaborate, that can use technology effectively with others, and for problems that we don't even know yet, but things that they're going to need to be able to do based on skills that transcend time and place. So the kind of education we're failing to produce children if we don't give them time for play who can discover and innovate. We want to create the inventors. What kind of citizen do we want for the 21st century? Thank you for joining me for a little bit. I look forward to seeing your conceptions of a great environment for children, and I hope you enjoy our presentations on play this week as well. Thanks again. Bye-bye.